Well, that brings us to Player of the Year, and for me, that brings me to John Nelson, because I think if you take a look across the board, I think, and I'm not knocking any of the other players, but if you took those guys off of their team, would they still be successful? That's how I judge who the most valuable player or Player of the Year award is. And if you took John Nelson off Snyder, I think they would struggle more so than if you took, say, Zach Terrell off Homestead, or James Kanapke, or Jalen Smith off Lures. Tavon Hurst, they might have some trouble in New Haven. But I think when it comes to the most valuable guy, I got to go with John Nelson. 2,400 yards.
Well, I don't know if this was a most valuable award or if it was Player of the Year. Really, here's the thing, Glenn. You and I both know this. We could throw 5 names in a hat, draw one out, and none of them would be incorrect. That's what's great about covering high school football in the Fort Wayne, northeastern Indiana area. There is so much talent spread around. It's just very, very impressive. And it's a lot of fun. Makes our jobs really easy and really fun. But I tell you, John Nelson had a great year. He was a big reason Snyder had that late half run like they did. But I'm going to go with the best player in not only northeastern Indiana, in my opinion, possibly the state, and that is Bishop Luers as leader, their best player, their power, their speed, everything that he brings, everything to the table. It's Jalen Smith. Thought I was going with James Kanapke there.
Well, when you said speed, no offense to Mr. Kanapke, but he doesn't quite have the foot
Have you
speed
tried to
of Jalen
catch
Smith.
some of his passes? They're fast.
No. Oh, that's true. Good point.
Michael Rogers said he had a bruised thumb after catching his passes. But no, Jalen Smith, here's the difference between the other guys that we mentioned, Zach Terrell, Kanapke, and John Nelson. Jalen Smith does it on both sides of the ball.
True.
He had 52 tackles, 6 quarterback sacks, ran for over 1,300 yards. And let's be honest, you could put him at any position on the field and he would dominate. I mean, he could be a dominant offensive lineman. He could be a dominant defensive lineman, cornerback, quarterback, wherever, which might be something they look at next year. Run a little wildcat with Jalen Smith back there. Have fun trying to stop that. But he can play literally anywhere on the football field and be a dominant force. And he was the best player on the best team, so I'm going to go with Jalen Smith as my Player of the Year.
I really thought you were going to go with Terrell.
Boy.
Going in 38 touchdown passes.
I know.
2 interceptions. I know you love Terrell. I thought you'd go with ZT.
You know what? I love ZT. He's a great kid. But I'll tell you what, if I had to go with a quarterback, this will startle you. I'm going with Kanapke because 3 straight state championships, the most prolific passer in the SAC history, does nothing but win. And you know, everybody takes shots at Lures. You get everybody's best shot every single night. And you know, the truth of the matter is, and I love Homestead, I love Zach Terrell and everything they've accomplished, they didn't win a sectional with Zach Terrell there. Now, that's not Zach Terrell's fault. I'm not saying that. But Kanapke won 3 consecutive state championships. And, I mean, it wasn't like he was doing it going 5 of 7 passing for 97 yards either. The kid can air it out. Both those guys are Mid-American Conference recruits, so both are going to be great in college. So if I really had to go with just one, and I know I've loved Zach Terrell for all these years, and I'm going to miss not seeing him play in Fort Wayne next year. I'll have to get up to Kalamazoo and watch him. But I'd have to go with Kanapke because he just had a fantastic career.
You know, when we did our midseason awards, I had Todd Fricke from Garrett, kind of along the same lines, the criteria that I use, the most valuable player. If you took him off the team, how much would they suffer? He had a great season as well. He'd be in my top 10 players, over 1,600 yards, 29 touchdowns. Hurst had over 2,100 yards, the same amount of touchdowns, 29 touchdowns. I mean, we really had a good season of individual performances here in Northeast Indiana.
Absolutely. I love covering Fort Wayne football. It's been 3 years for me now that I've done this, and it's just spectacular. Every single Friday night, you don't know what you're going to see, but you're going to see something great.